Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to have an expert in a complicated area with us today. Right now, we have with us Dr. Kamna Tiwary. She tells me that she's an expert in international relations and technology. International relations and technology. Well, let's listen to her and find out what she does. Over to you, Doctor.
Thank you, Dr. Mathur, for very kind introduction. And I'm really happy to be here today. And actually, I've been following Vidpeds, and I myself learn a lot from all your engagements. So thank you for giving me this platform. So in another, I'm timing this as another like 17 minutes, 17 to 18 minutes. I'll talk about myself, my educational journey, and then what do I do? My focus is presently on researching on technologies, emerging technologies, and how it has an impact on foreign policy, science diplomacy, these kind of areas.
Okay. By the way, there is no time limit from my side. You have imposed it on yourself, but
Okay.
please don't feel constrained in any way. There are people who have taken 55 minutes. I have no objection. So there is no limit. Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, sir. So presently, so as sir said, I am Kamna Tiwary. I'm presently based in Washington, D.C. area, to be specific, Maryland, state of US, on a J2 visa. It's a research visa, actually, and a J2 is a dependent of J1. So I'm actually a dependent. My husband is a research scientist here. Actually, I have finished my all education from India, and I'm presently doing my research in an independent capacity. So my educational journey, I actually belong to a state that is Bihar, but my education from schooling till +2 happened in Patna. After that, I moved to New Delhi for my bachelor's in University of Delhi, Miranda House. I was bachelor's in sciences, where I did my chemistry honors. So it's something where we study physics, mathematics, chemistry, but we specialize in chemistry in our final year. And then I moved to international relations. It was a master's program that was offered by Jawaharlal Nehru University. And because science was very interesting, but at the same time, I also wanted to learn more about uh, other things that would give me a very holistic or overall wider picture of knowledge. So I found international relations as one of those program, very rare program, I would say, which was very multidisciplinary, and it was also very demanding. Later on, I continued on it in School of International Studies, Center for International Politics, Organization and Disarmament. I continued there as a integrated M.Phil. I continued there for my integrated M.Phil PhD program. After that, I got chance to live outside India. I was in Paris for 2 years, and I'm in US for around 1.5 years. And I have got this opportunity to talk, interact with people from academic community outside India, and also try to work research. I also have tried to collaborate with them for research. Some of them have actually resulted in publication. And I'm also working on few more. So I'm, I think I'm going to speak about my uh, my my experience of
Okay.
doing research in India, and what things I found different in West, like in US
Okay.
and in Paris. So for that, I will give a background of my PhD research, my topic, and how I engaged with it. So my study was about nuclear energy in India. And to be more specific, I was looking into what kind of public engagement uh, public engagement happens so that there is more acceptability for nuclear energy. When I was doing my study, Kudankulam nuclear power project was under a lot of controversy. Now, Kudankulam power plant is presently operational in India. It's located in Tamil Nadu state of India. And by between 2011 to 2012, it was under huge controversy. There were huge protest movements that were happening. And because of which this power plant got delayed in getting operationalized. Now, the thing is that I took up this challenging topic. It was quite challenging for me because, first of all, my field trip required me to visit Kudankulam. While I have no competence in Tamil language. I couldn't read, neither I could speak. So it was very difficult for me to engage with the people there. But at the same time, I was thankfully able to secure help from local colleges in Chennai and also in Tirunelveli, who helped me, uh, like some students helped me in being my translator. Uh, one of the things which I experienced, one of the challenges I would say was to uh, to kind of engage with to build networks and engage with people. I think this was one aspect which I felt was challenging when I moved from science to social science, because in science we are trained like in a we are trained to work in labs where a lot of procedures are already set procedures. We are either replicating the results, or of course there are new things that there are new experiments that are set up, but it's a closed environment and we have interaction with people. But in the case of social science, when especially when we are talking about technologies like niche technologies like nuclear, and right now we can expand it to the kind of debates we are seeing in artificial intelligence as well as quantum or space. So when we are engaging in these uh, technological like these topics that have already a set of experts who are talking about it, and from the social science perspective, we try to bring into as many voices as possible. What are the concerns? What are the challenges? Who is positive? Who is negative? I think that's how we get a very rounded, a holistic, a larger picture, which I think is what we should be aiming to capture. So in my case, uh, uh, I think one of the important stakeholders that when I was talking about nuclear energy and what are the challenges, why people who are residing near the nuclear power plant are the ones who don't want it. So basically, there are 10 fishing villages near this power plant, and they were the ones who were mostly protesting. But the seat of the protest was one village, Idintikare, which is 5 to 7 kilometers away from the Kudankulam power plant. I wasn't able to visit all the villages. I was able to visit only Idintikare. And at the same time, I made all my efforts to talk to the government stakeholders, like the local bodies, who and even like NPCIL. NPCIL is Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited. It's a public sector undertaking, but they are this is the company that runs all the nuclear power plants in India and the Kudankulam. So, so if we go into right now, if anybody can go into NPCL's website, and we can see a lot of public engagement uh, information about Kudankulam that NPCIL engages in presently. Like they have programs for school children where they tell that nuclear energy is safe, and like from the perspective of the reactor, it is safe even for environment. How and apart from that, they also present, of course, which is also acceptable, like not only NPCIL, but all nuclear industry bodies say that nuclear energy is important, because right now, when we are talking about climate goals, nuclear energy is the non-carbon. So it is one option where we do not produce carbon dioxide. So it gives a very a safe option with respect to other fossilized fuels. So when I was doing my study, I was trying to look into all such kind of public engagements that was possibly happening even at that time. Like even when the protests were going on, mostly by civil society group, non-governmental organizations, especially environmental groups, even citizen scientists who were not who weren't pro nuclear energy, like with respect to, I talked to few and they said we have solar energy, why do we need this large infrastructure with us? But at the same time, we have to understand that Kudankulam is actually a collaboration of India and Russia, nuclear power. Russia, in the case of Russia, it was their organization is called, I think, Rosatom, that signed the agreement with NPCIL. And and the nuclear power plant, the technology, the power plant itself is a Russian technology. Though it said that it was told that it was upgraded, but when I talked to a lot of people who were who belong to the civil society group, as well as some residents, they were very skeptical of a Russian power plant. They told to me that Russia couldn't stop Chernobyl accident in their own backyard. How are you so sure that they are giving us a right technology or a safe one? So I could see that there were apprehensions from not only environmental point of view, but also about this exchange of technology, which according to them couldn't be trusted because that country themselves failed in even managing a nuclear accident, for example. Yes, I
I
can't.
want to ask, what were the key points of the protest from the villagers?
Yes. So, I will tell you about the interviews and what they responded to me. The first key point was it actually started with this concern that the fishing community will suffer because they are going to release the nuclear wastewater into the sea, and the fish catches are going to decrease. It's going to affect the marine environment, basically.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And fishermen will lose their livelihood. It started with this. Uh, Later on, the demand, there were new concerns that kept happening, like they keep raising new concerns. Around that time, Fukushima nuclear accident also happened. And then the another concern which became very prevalent was how government will manage a nuclear accident. So they wanted the government to release a roadmap, or to at least tell them whether there will be enough protection for the people, whether they will be relocated, or what kind of health protection will they get in case of.
Mm-hmm.
And there was practically no information about it at that time. So at that time, the government said that the state pollution control board will be managing all kind of accidents, or
Right.
and like the professors and NGOs, they said it's just not possible because you are doing something very different, and you need a new body for it, which is more advanced, which has more expertise, which has a new knowledge. They need a new manpower, basically. But there was nothing of that sort. So it kept decreasing the trust of people in believing the government, like the
Right.
kind. answers the government would give, it would not convince them at all.
Yeah.
So initially, even if the government said that it won't harm the marine ecology, the fishermen would be fine. You can do that fishing. And actually, on some count, I could even hear that government said we will give you a mechanized boat, and then you can go deep into the sea to do fishing. So, but I
Right.
do not know if they kept the promise. But
Mm.
such kind of things are very common to go around, like. But the thing is that they weren't not only they were not only thinking that this is not going to happen. Like they were not even convinced with any of the promises, but they were very skeptical of their loss of their livelihood.
Yeah.
uh, Secondly, another was the health issue. So they one of the residents said that they feel that the number of cancer cases have increased. Is it because of the radiations? Is it correct to live in near a nuclear power plant? What is the radiation limit, or is it safe? So they have these kind of questions. But the thing is that the government officers, as well as they also roped in many scientists who came and spoke, who tried to at least come and speak to these people. But again, it wasn't up to the satisfaction level. So yeah, saying this, having said this, one thing that was very noticeable, one thing that kind of impressed me as well as intrigued me was that the Tamil Nadu government was uploading reports on public meetings that they were organizing, or public hearings, they would say. I do not know the exact terminology, but they were uploading that they are holding these meetings and hearings where they're engaging with these common people with concerns. They are trying to bring down their apprehensions. And it should be fine, because we have experts who are saying that we have lab results showing that this nuclear power plant. So they were also saying that we are using a very advanced nuclear power plant. And this power plant is actually the fourth generation. So if we look at nuclear power plant,
We had an internet glitch there, but we are back, and Dr. Tiwari will continue from where she was speaking about fourth generation power plants.
yeah, thank you. So I was talking about the government were they kept convincing that we have the latest technology, the fourth generation nuclear power reactor. So yeah, but again, as I said before, the most important part was the holding of these public hearings. And I was able to talk to these people, like the residents of the villagers, and I asked them whether you attended them and what happened there, because I was not able to take part in these. But I found this very interesting. It was because, especially because I felt this is one platform where experts and non-experts are meeting for a very critical thing. Like nuclear technology is something that everybody cannot understand, but still there are issues, there are concerns. Like we know about it, we read about it, and most of our knowledge is from Europe and US, which who themselves witnessed anti-nuclear protest movement in the era of 60s, 70s, and 80s. So, but at that time, a lot of residents told me that, I mean, we did go there, but the participation wasn't so high. And the way government has presented the picture of it being so positive, that as if they have tried their best to tell people everything is correct, everything is fine, is actually not that true. Because a lot of people, first of all, have I mean, they doubted the participation, the number of people who actually went. And even if some people went, they felt this interaction was very top down or very one sided. So actually, I in my thesis, I wanted to explore more into the nitty-gritties of this existence of this spaces, which is also called, there's a concept of public sphere by a philosopher Habermas, and how he talks about the existence of these spaces, where even if I mean, if it fails in convincing people, the two extreme sides, in convincing each other who is correct, who is wrong, at least it brings them together. So even if end of the day we have our polarizing opinions and we are at all not convinced, but at the same time we are at least we are at least kind of, it can be considered an effective way of bringing people together. So I wanted to explore more into this area of how public spheres can actually contribute when we talk about these niche technologies. So not only nuclear, but can we replicate this when we are talking about, for example, artificial intelligence right now? And or for example, quantum technologies. So and even the space sector, those space and I also feel that when we talk about artificial intelligence or space, at that time it was nuclear. Most of the time the positive picture is because it's a positive contribution to the economy of the country. So in the case of even nuclear, the if we look at from the concept, from the point of view of economy and development, so yes, nuclear energy has a very promising future, and with the more and more development, we are going to make better reactors, and maybe we are going to minimize accidents. But at the same time, the question which are always present since decades is that how are we going to manage the nuclear waste? Or even when we are trading in nuclear material, what are the safety standards? So these are some of the very critical questions that are going to remain, and we have to keep revisiting it as a social science researcher. And this is one thing. At the same time, I also felt that when we are talking about these very niche areas, as a social science researcher, I feel it's very important to talk to very different set of people at the same time. Now, in my case, while when I was doing my study, it became very easy to talk to the common people because they were very open to talk. They were easy to reach. And they were also very eager to share their stories with me. They felt happy that somebody's hearing them out. But when I tried to reach out to the government agencies, or even, for example, the if I would have liked to interview the district magistrate, uh, the idea was always no, like they would not engage with researchers at all, or they would not even it's not even yes. So it was very different for me to engage with the government bodies or with the industry bodies, for example. So now when I imagine if somebody is working on space technologies or artificial intelligence, right now we have decadal vision of space economy in India out in 23, and now we have even there is a artificial intelligence vision. So most of the time it's a projection of how India's economy is going to grow because we are inviting private sector in space now, or how we are engaging with artificial intelligence in coming years so that our economy can expand. But at the same time, I see there's a kind of dearth of uh, critical takes, or uh, what are the challenges, what are we going to face in a society. But at the same time, when we see the way US is engaging with it, the way Europe is engaging with it, it's quite different. So I was going through this decadal vision of Indian space, which is presently put out in the website of an agency called InSpace. They are working on expanding the space sector in India, especially the space economy. And they have there is one important point where it's pointed out that they are looking out for more collaboration between industry, government, and academia. So I think I would really like to see this happening in a very broad way, because it's very much needed if we want to look at it both positively as well as in a way where we are ultimately uh, wanting things to be positive, but at the same time looking at how harmful or what are the areas we have to be careful about. Now, I want to also talk about a bit about my own experience of when I came to US and Paris, and I
Yeah,
engaged with
sure.
engaged with some conferences, and I met academicians who are working on these topics, and the kind of platform they share for like younger students. So there is so we have a lot of conferences that are just that actually ends on networking session, which I find was not the case back in India. So they invite industry, people from industry, people from government, as well as there is, of course, academia is always there, the facilitator, I would say. And I think that gives a very a nice platform for students to hear different ideas, especially because there are a lot of things there. So there are a lot of government documents out, even when we look at US State Department or in European international agencies, we can always see and read about it. But hearing firsthand, getting firsthand information from somebody from the organization is I think is an add-on. It is something that helps us build more ideas, and I think that is what I would vouch for even in India, in a more larger scale. So I'm not saying it's not happening. Maybe it's happening. Maybe IITs have that platform, but also at much more wider level. And I want more industry bodies to talk to academia, which is not the case, I think, not that prevalent, so that even social science researchers can devise their own research. They have more, uh, they can get more ideas about what to do.
Mm-hmm.
That was something I felt is necessary, because right now I am working on space, and now there is so much talk about space diplomacy, space collaboration. Even African nations are opening up; they want their own space stations, and it's from a lot of talk is mostly about who is getting more share in the economy.
Mm-hmm.
So if we look at the decadal vision of for India, we see that right now India is occupying 2 to 3% of the global space economy, but they are projecting it that they want to occupy around 8%
Mm-hmm.
in coming decade, like by 2033.
Mm-hmm.
So, but apart from that, there are also other case studies that, like, how are we going to deal with it? Like, the and one important factor would be data sharing. So now, uh, the decadal vision says that ISRO is going to open up its infrastructure, its knowledge base, its data sharing capacities with the private sector. And I think these are some of the things which we should be happy about, but at the same time, we have to look more into it in a very in-depth way. And we would like to see more voices. So these are the two important things which I wanted to highlight. As a researcher, I found this challenging, as well as I find that there is a solution to it, and I would like to be a part of that solution.
Sure. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Fascinating to actually hear what the people on the ground think. and how difficult it is to get government people to talk about things. And I can understand it because they are not authorized to be the spokespersons. So, okay, but let me ask you, take you back in time a little bit. Your shift from Patna to Delhi, specifically to Miranda House, is this something that you really wanted, or is this something that happened? And then how was it in Delhi to come from Patna?
Uh, Actually, I would say that it's not something I always like. It was, I wasn't aspiring for it. But the thing was that, like, I was very much into science. I was really looking into going into some Bachelor of Technology programs. But then I was not able to land in the institution I aimed for. So I thought that I would go for a bachelor in pure sciences, which was also I used to read a lot of newspaper at that time, and I used to read that because there was a boom of B.Tech courses in India at around 2000s time, and everybody was leaving the pure sciences, and if possible, they were going for this B.Tech courses. And I did feel that pure sciences have are very important, like we cannot lose that thing. So it wasn't very much planned, but I would prefer I would prefer, of course, Delhi University and Miranda House over going to a B.Tech program, which I was not very convinced of. I mean, the institutions I was not very convinced of. So that was one thing. And my moving from Patna to Delhi was it wasn't that smooth actually. It was a cultural shock for me, and I took some time to kind of get used to my college life. So I didn't have a very smooth transition. So, but yeah, it finally, it just it just went on. And Delhi University actually had a very I mean, the program was very demanding. So we were in college from 8:15 till like 5 p.m. It was like a day's work completely. So we were spending a lot of time in lab and then in theory. So overall, it was a very demanding thing. And yeah, with all the lodging issues and everything, it wasn't that easy.
So, based on all that and your current experience, what advice or tips would you have for young people who are in 11th or 12th or first year, something like that? Do you have any advice for them or tips, something?
Oh, of course. Actually, I really love to engage with students who are 11th, 12th, or who are in the first year of college. And I would say like from the time I was a student, things have really changed a lot in India right now. Even the education now, we have a new education policy there. Now the studies are more interdisciplinary. They can choose a 3-year program over a 4-year program. And I did interact with a couple of students, first year students in DU, and they were very in a confused state. They weren't sure what are they doing, why are they doing, whether it's correct or not. My advice would be that there was never a time when anybody was ever sure of like what I'm doing is the only right thing. Even in my time, if I look, like it's 15 years now, but I was the same, and all the people around me were the same. We were at the same time, we weren't never sure this is the right. So it's the same for you. I know there are more choices now. For me, at least, I had couple of choices, but for now, if somebody's in 11, 12, they have many choices now. So it's but natural that they will feel much more confused than me.
Okay.
But I would say that be very try to figure out what really interests you. It is very important to know what interests you, what is one thing that you can spend time with. Like what gives you joy in learning. You should I really feel one should know uh, when are you feeling a joy in learning,
Okay.
and once we know it, maybe the path can be a bit easy.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to add here?
Um, I just want to wish best of luck to all the social science researchers in India, because I do think it's a very hard job, like doing things over designing a project and then finding people, survey, or even interviews, or but though a lot of things have changed, I would say, I would also say that people reach out on mails now, and there is now social network. And but again, that human to human talk is something that makes experiences much more enriched.
Okay.
So I just hope my whatever I shared here, I hope it is of help.
Yeah.
And there are, uh, I hope it is of help. That's all.
All right. Okay. I think we can end it here today. I'll
Yeah.
be back with another young person or an expert soon. Let's say bye till then. Bye, everybody.